As a breakout hardpoint, for me, a map where you have streaky players, it comes into play a lot because there are some areas of cover, especially towards that cave side. If you have a player that knows how to survive well inside the hard point, he positions right behind that bulldozer, looks over towards that spiral staircase area. We have seen players go on 5 to 10 streaks, get fully streaked out, and then use them towards the later half of that game to help their team secure the win.
And I wonder if we see any ERAD on this map. I feel like this is the one of the maps that you can still just run 4 assault rifles and get away with it. I think you can run 4K bars and definitely be fine.
Well, if you think about it, each hardpoint has an area where you want to have that, obviously a K bar for a reason. As we go ahead and take a look at the map so far, 250 to 224, the retaliation hardpoint was not easy. But the theme of this has been Epsilon. If it comes down to a respawn game mode, they clutch up in the end when they need to. Imperial, they've relied on search and destroy to get them this far in the series. Silver lining for them, if they can sneak this hard point out, they will go to Scorch S&D again to be able to go back to that slower paced game mode. But what I do want to bring up again with this map is think it'd be chill. The first hard point. Even when you're in the hard point, you want the K-bar to be able to challenge precise shots towards either window side, down towards loading. You think a cell block, K-bar in the hill, not only is great, but you can watch the outer wall run. You can rotate towards the back, watch over that dirt street, wherever you want to go. Inside the next hard point in Grave, I mean, when you're sitting behind that dozer, I can tell you right now, you do not want to have a submachine gun when trying to shoot towards the players on spiral staircase. And then finally, commissary. That's K-bar again for the wall run.
And not even just the hard points themselves, but the rotation from one hill to the next one.
Yes.
It's not like some of the other maps where you're fighting through like close quarter engagements, like retaliation, where you can go through the hotel and whatnot, and you can force those close quarter gunfights. The rotations on this one, the sight lines are all long.
Yeah.
So you're not going to be able to hit those shots with an ERAD against an NV4 or K-bar player.
And even for the inside areas, like if you're pushing through loading, any area you go outside of loading is longer range sight lines.
Yeah.
Like if you're hitting the wall runs, you don't want an ERAD on it. If you go towards middle, you're just going towards either street side where, again, you don't want to have an ERAD. Not much positioning and movement you could do to help yourself in this scenario with a submachine.
Yeah, I mean, even think about when you're trying to push a hill out like Grave and you're trying to come through the cave area. I mean, you have an ERAD and you're the first one in. Like, the chances of you getting anyone is minimal. I mean, there's going to be a player over in the window in the back, player behind the bulldozer area. It's going to be very difficult to get into that. Well,
we should be getting into this game here momentarily. Remember, keep using that hashtag CWL London. Give us your thoughts about, honestly, everything going on. What do you think about the lower-tier European teams really struggling so far this weekend? Really, the top-tier teams just not giving any chance for an upset, which is some of the things that I like about the open bracket events that we'll have in North America. I know some are coming up here in EU, but in those, you could sometimes see some surprise teams make something happen. Here, I didn't get that feeling once.
Yeah, it's a very difficult situation, I feel like, for a team to just kind of be thrown into the groups and not get a bunch of warm-up matches, not be able to kind of synergize with each other in a LAN environment. So I feel like they obviously did have a lot against them, but still you'd expect some better performances. I mean, we've seen some pretty ugly beatdowns so far.
We saw, I think, 3 uplinks combined for a score of like 62-0 between the good.
And look, I think that's just some teams obviously getting some more experience. I know they don't get an opportunity to maybe scrimmage these top European teams as much as home. Obviously, you know, the top European teams are really just kind of playing with each other. So their best opportunities is through, you know, the 2K tournaments, the Pro Point Ladder or whatnot to get good competition, scrims against these teams. And you see really where Europe is kind of, the top is really broken away from that bottom half.
And isn't this Epsilon team the squad that's played like 90,000 GBs? I think they're the team.
I think they played
like
a ton.
The most of anybody. I remember seeing some screenshots of them. Like their roster was like 448.
Actually, I think you don't. I think that may be a different team.
You think?
I think so.
Okay.
I may be wrong.
Someone tell me.
You may be right.
Is Matt wrong or right
Somebody,
in this scenario? A European expert.
European expert.
I mean, I am.
You were the European expert last year.
I was.
Yep, Revan was our Australian expert. Yep, we had a lot of experts last year. Me and Maven just stuck to North America.
You were our North American expert.
Questions, yep.
Even though we casted just as many matches.
I was the expert of North America, okay?
Good. You embody what North America is, Matt.
I don't know. Yeah, that's a good thing, right?
I think Brycey embodies what the United Kingdom is.
100% Brycey does.
And Maniac embodies what an Australian is.
Yep, definitely does as well. A ton is saying no, Brycey does not represent.
Yeah, that's true.
Those people, yeah.
Brycey doesn't.
No.
If he did, wow, it would be a
They'd be in trouble, yeah. But we will have Breakout Hardpoint coming up next. If you're just joining us, there'll be Epsilon up 2-1 here in the series against Imperial. Imperial, they took the search and destroy. I think they had a pretty good shot of taking the uplink when we saw it play out. They just missed a lot of 1-point throws.
Matt,
probably going to come back to haunt them here in this hard point. Yeah, what are you going to say, Jack? You're gonna say it's going to be a game 5. So you're
my body is telling me.
Your body's telling you
that this is going
I think
Imperial 250.
Okay.
Epsilon 196.
Oh. And what makes you feel that way?
Oh, I didn't actually think we would go that far.
Oh.
I just thought I could
Well,
say
there has to be some kind of basis for your predictions.
Oh, I said my body. My body felt that way.
Okay.
Yeah. No, that's not what I think. My body just...
Yeah, my mind tells me this is going to be like a 250 to 165 game in favor of Epsilon.
Okay, so we're going opposite of each other.
Yep.
So you using your thoughts and what you've seen so far, me just getting a sense from my body, have 2 different predictions. We'll see who's right. We're going to watch Dave off the break. The guy went 34-21 at the first hard point to lead his team to victory, and now he's outer wall running in the weirdest scenario I've seen off the break.
Yeah, he's probably going as far away from the hard point as possible, but you do think that maybe trying to lock down some position on the flank here, trying to pinch the side of Imperial in that middle hard point, but still you don't want to give up that second spawn for the cell block area, so a really weird route there at the beginning.
Just swap through everybody there so you can see at home exactly what players are using. 1 ERAD on the side of Epsilon. Imperial, though, going with that 4AR setup, which I actually do like here.
I favor the 4AR setup here as well. I think it's going to be very difficult for the SMG players to get going on the rotations.
That reminds me a little bit of AW retreat hardpoint break, where one of the biggest things that separated the good teams from the lesser teams was running a 3 AR to 1 sub setup. I remember TK always used a 2-2 split, and every time off the break of AW retreat hardpoint, they would just get destroyed by the 3 BALs on the other team. Here in another scenario where you just had 4 ARs, the sub was having to go in a completely different area of the map, and you just see the Imperial wind up get out to an early lead.
Yeah, and I mean, I feel like you can run the extra sub if you have that kind of talent in the SMG department. Like, I know you kind of go back to AW where you saw FaZe, they were able to run an extra SMG because Zuma and Attach were just that good.
Yeah.
And I think, look, Epsilon, they just want to force a faster style of play, and a map like this, I think you're going to be hard-pressed to do that just because of the sight lines and the way the map's designed. Vortex barely staying on the map. He's in a very useless spot right there. Finally,
all that for that.
Doesn't win the gunfight anyway, so all that wall running for absolutely nothing.
Now, we did catch just before that the reason why Imperial even have control of this hard point. And again, it doesn't always show up in the stats. Right now, yes, Endura is doing well for himself, but he got the 1v1 gunfight victory for the spawn on the back of the map, a scenario that Epsilon they can't afford to lose that. It results in a 40-second swing. Epsilon should absolutely be in the lead right now if they win that one-on-one engagement. Instead, though, it's Imperial up by close to 50 seconds. Thankfully for Epsilon, though, they are on the rotation, but a pinch now coming in for the Imperial as they go to try to collapse on this hard point.
Yeah, no, we talked about Imperial, you know, in the first hard point, they were not able to get to the Money Hills, rotate early and lock it down. This time they get to cell block a little bit late, they're able to break it and then hold it for the rest of the time. But now they give up early control to Grave, and let's see if they can break through. I feel like the one thing I'm worried about with this team, they lack the explosive firepower for somebody to just go in and get a big 2-piece and open up this hard point.
Well, Shane, again, 8-2, another monster start. Look at the positioning behind the dozer. It's what I was talking about, where players can just go on ridiculous streaks because they have so much cover where only really the top of their head can be seen. Sam B, though, breaks on in. He's been the guy with Shane through this entire series as just consistent play. He's in the objective. Pretty solid break. They'll get the last bit of scrap time, go back up to about a 30-second lead, and already towards this commissary hard point, you've got an engagement about to happen with Vortex flanking behind with the submachine gun.
Now he's going to be able to take out Endura, who is set up for that commissary hard point. And Vortex just going to push this out with his SMG in hand. You want to let him get aggressive, push out these spawns from the side of Imperial, but it still is going to be Epsilon behind here with Imperial. The chance to break. They do have players spread very far away, though. You see some players coming on that wall around the bottom side of your minimap, some players trying to go all the way around by the helipad. They need to break this soon, though, because Epsilon's starting to mount towards making a comeback in this one.
And this is where we talked about a little bit of where an ERAD could be at a weakness. Vortex is very limited on the areas he could peek towards, and I will commend him so far on how he's played this one out. Stayed alive near that back spawn area, only challenged a gunfight inside the objective, and he's leaving the wall run watch to his teammates. Now he'll just push this out. With time dwindling on this hard point, you might as well just begin to rotate towards this new hill. Does he flank the player inside showers? Yes, he does. Sam B not ready for Vortex. Loving how he is playing with the submachine gun right now.
Yeah, I mean, if you wanted to play with an SMG on this map and you're trying to figure out how, that is a perfect example. You saw Vortex playing all
That's
positions.
how you shouldn't throw a grenade.
No,
by the
that's
way.
definitely not how you should throw a grenade. But you saw all the positions Vortex in. You know, it just map geometry. It just favors submachine gun players.
Ooh.
Those tight, close quarters areas did not put him in a situation where he would have had to win a long range gunfight.
I like that, map geometry.
Yep.
I've never heard you say that before. You're really pulling out all the stops here in the CWL London event presented by the PS4. Going the next level is Mr. X's personal slogan. As we see Epsilon's going the next level up
That might
117
my
to
personal
91.
slogan, going the next level.
Yeah,
I don't
it
even
is.
know what that means.
Neither do I. I just completely pulled
I
that
can see
one
you're
up.
bringing out all the stops here as well.
Oh, it's what I do. Look at the young gun here, Hockey. In regards to Maven, getting a couple kills there and fully streaked out. 30-second lead now for Epsilon. What is this, the largest in the game for them?
Yeah, and this is one where I think Imperial has to start sweating at this point, right? You know, they had a early lead. The C Epsilon starting to chip away. Now Epsilon, you know, they jump up by about 20 or so seconds, and they do have, you know, the setup going for this next hard point.
I actually really love the setup that Epsilon have right now. They have the pressure towards middle still. They have the one player watching the outer wall run, so he's got full peace of mind that he's safe from there. But Dave needs to help with the shots towards his backside sooner rather than later. He's only able to get one. Shane now pressuring, and Desire has to pull his attention away from this wall run, and that's going to give Imperial an opportunity to begin to soar on in towards this hard point. 2 kills go in their favor. Desire trying to stay alive, not going to happen yet. Dave last here for Epsilon, but I do believe the break has come in, and there's still a ton of time at this hard point now for Imperial.
Yeah, and if I'm Imperial, I think I take the rest of this time, and then I try and re-break the graveyard again.
Okay.
I would probably try and take the rest of this, but it looks like you're going to see Epsilon just swarm in. It's going to be Brain able to get to. Hockey's able to trade that out quick. So Epsilon breaks. They get control, because now you, on the side of Epsilon, you have streaks for this next graveyard. So you don't need to rotate early. You can use these streaks to break.
Bombardment is sick for this next hill in regards to going for a break. It looks like they'll call it in right away. How many does it wind up getting? It forces one player into the cave. You've got the pinch coming in from Desire, and Hockey actually only kills Vortex with it. He only kills Vortex with it.
That was a sick bombardment.
Well, the reason why I say it's good for this is because it forces players to push towards a certain area. So there, you had someone that pushed towards cave. Desire never goes for the pinch. He's just playing an off angle, doesn't actually push it. And instead of him getting the collapse on the player, he just waits. The bombardment goes away. The players get back to the cover they want to have behind this yellow bulldozer, and then he doesn't get anything for it.
Yeah, and I mean, this is a great setup for Imperial. I mean, they're just forcing Epsilon in through one route. They know they cannot flank. They had them in a perfect position, but Epsilon just uses that slaying power to their advantage, just breaks right through the front of the hill, and they'll take the last 20 seconds or so. So right now, Imperial just cannot cut this lead down. They do a good job getting there early. They take a few seconds, and then Epsilon takes it all right back.
This is one where if you have Dave put on the performance he put on in game 1, this is not a close game at all. The guy's 9-17 right now, least amount of objective time for his team. Literally doing the least of anybody in the lobby right now. Does get the spawns for his team, though, which is quite nice for this commissary hardpoint. 60-second lead for Epsilon. They're going to look to try to shut the door here, though, Matt. They might not be able to win it off this hill, but they can get pretty damn close. Scorcher's now flying in. The only players are hitting this outer wall run, and Dave knows that. He's got all the lanes watched behind him. This one, I think, is done, Matt.
And the outer wall run is just a death trap. Just trying to get across it is just so difficult. You have 2, maybe 3 AR players just staring at it. Not going to be able to win any of those gunfights. You see Imperial wants to push it. They just know that the players are just going to drop as they come over the side. So see, they do get 1 player over the wall run. They had 2 other players just waiting on the other side, just looking over them for cover, but they're not able to break in using that route. And 15 seconds left on this. It looks like Epsilon will take the remainder of this time. We'll head back towards the second. The middle hill.
Yeah.
We're actually getting pretty close to my prediction, though. I said, what, 250 to 160?
You did.
So we're getting very close.
You did. And Imperial really, they haven't gotten a second in the last couple hard points, it seems, as now can Epsilon close it out here. Hockey on a 7 streak. You've got Dave on a 5 streak of his own. Vortex was just cut down off his 4 streak. Slaying has completely gone in Epsilon's favor, and I think this game is done. Do Imperial have any presence towards this hard point? It does appear so for the moment, so can't call it too early, Jack. Epsilon, though, within seconds of taking this game and the series.
I mean, Epsilon only needs 2 seconds, really, obviously, to win this one. It would be an crazy scenario for Imperial to come back and win this. So I feel like it's just a matter of time, and there it is. It's going to be Epsilon taking this one 250 to 140, securing the series in a 3-1 victory.
Dave, who is 9-17, ends that game 14-19, but for the big player that time around, Hockey 24-12, 2 minutes and 10 seconds in the hard point. Congratulations to Epsilon with the victory there as they take down Arguably a team that they were fighting with for second place in this group, many people would say, alongside Imperial. Bryce, Jonas, and Momo, though, give us that